This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You always scum. Rebel scum.
Hello.
Hello, Heidi.
Of course Heidi's here. Heidi, what is going on? Happy New Year, James. Is this the first episode of the new year? I can't remember. Yes.
Well, if you count rankings, it's our second show of the year, but our first podcast of the year. So that's always fun.
How was your New Year's, James?
My New Year's was good. It was fine. It was low key. I will say it was low key because Ontario entered a lockdown, obviously, but you could still have like what we were supposed to have 4 or 7 more. We're supposed to have a significant amount more people over than we did, and so we had food prepared for that many people. So I'm going to be eating all year. 2022 is the year of eating well for me because it was a lot of food. We couldn't even make it all because we had so much. But how was your New Year?
It was good. We just stayed home, watched movies. Well, no, that's not true. We went out for fun food in the afternoon and then came home. So no, we did. We're old
food.
Yeah, I mean, we went to a vegan like fast food place, so that's what I call fun food. Yeah.
All right, that's fine. I would like, but you okay? Can I interject for a second?
Yeah.
Because you saw a movie that I absolutely love on New Year's Eve. You finally saw the Ghostbuster movie.
Yes. It was good.
You liked it?
Yeah, I loved it. The Ghostbusters are fine for me. Like, I don't get super excited about the movies. I'll watch them. Don't get me started. But it's just like I've never have been like, yes, I will watch them now. So I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Finn Wolfhard fan, so anything Stranger Things, I'm like, yeah, what are they doing? So Reham's like, poor Finn Wolfhard. He's like doomed to 80s projects. Even though it was current day, but
yeah, I loved it, but like, I don't know how you feel, but I felt like it wasn't, like I said this earlier, like it wasn't Ghostbusters 3. It was that bridge. It was like a side note story in kind of a way. And then I mean that like in a positive way. Like it's not a negative slight against it, but I love that movie. And it just came out on the digitals to yesterday. One of these days it came out. So that's exciting stuff for all the people that are going to buy it on the digitals. You also saw Spider-Man, Brock.
Yeah, that was great. Theaters have officially shut down in Ontario for at least a month, I think. Hopefully less. So we went and we're like, we got to see Spider-Man, and loved it. It's just like, if you've watched all the extra things that Marvel's been doing outside of movies, so like Disney Plus stuff, it's really great. Favorite part of that movie, and it's a small part, is like this new evolving character that is Wong. I won't go into details, but I'm like, no, where's he? No, more of him. So I really enjoyed that, but it was spectacular. Spectacular Spider-Man. It's a bummer for anyone in pretty much Canada. If you want to go see a movie, it's pretty much not a thing for at least a couple weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And look, I don't know. I was hoping to see the Scream 5. I'm just going to call it Scream 5 because they can go to hell with the Scream. But like, I love Scream. Rob McDonald, Darth Ward got me a Scream 2 t-shirt for Christmas. I don't like. It's my favorite. It's like one of my favorite movies, and I didn't know people like Scream 2 other than me, but they made a T-shirt at Old Navy of it, so somebody does. It's a cult classic, I guess. But I was kind of looking forward to it. My cousin wanted to go see it. We're all going to get together and go see it whenever it comes out next week or 2 weeks. And I was like, that's not happening. But the thing with that movie, though, Brock, that really sucks, and Spider-Man would be the same, is, if like Spider-Man, we kind of knew what was going to happen in that, right? You know what I mean? But like, you don't know for sure, right? Like, it's kind of like, no, you knew it was happening. You knew it was coming. Yeah. Everyone, like, you knew it was coming, but at the same time, you didn't know it was coming, right? So when it happened, you're like, this is more like a relief. Where Scream's the same type of thing, where like the killer, like when you find out the twists and the turns of it, it's gonna, I don't know. It sucks being where we are right now. Pauline understands. She's around us too. Didn't Rock cut his hair? She meant Brock, but she's spelled Rock. And
yeah, about a couple weeks ago.
I love typos. Have you seen Encanto, Brock? They're talking about Encanto in the chat.
I did. Loved it. My nieces saw it in theater a couple weeks ago, so they were singing the songs at Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. So we're like, we got to watch this. And it was like, oh, Disney Plus, perfect. They went to the theaters, and then a couple days later, it came out on Disney Plus. So, like, that's what I like. Like, Disney's being smart. So, like, for people that can't see Spider-Man Far From Home or No Way Home, I believe it's 45 days from the theatrical release, because is it 45 or 60?
No, it does. Sony, it doesn't count.
Oh, right.
Disney movies and now Warner Brother movies are 45-day window. Because Warner Brothers screwed themselves royally this year with their HBO Max releases. Yeah, no, so you are right. It's 45 days, but Spider-Man won't be
because it's Sony, right?
Sony, yeah. So I mean, I like, the thing is though, we I don't know, Ontario's treating it, I think, different from a lot of the world, and I don't think a lot of places are shut down right now like we are. So I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm glad you squeezed that movie in. Did you feel safe? Can I just ask you if you felt safe in the theater?
Oh yeah.
Did anyone turn to you and they go? Blah, blah?
If you feel safe going to the grocery store, you feel safe going. Like, it's one or the other. Just wear a mask. We've been wearing double masks just to be extra cautious. Like, wash your hands. Like, it's like you got to keep living. So I feel bummed out for like restaurants, like servers and theater workers, and just like gym people. Like, it is what it is. But I was, oh damn, that sucks, because Eternals comes out next week on Disney Plus. I'm like, perfect.
I haven't seen Eternals. You haven't seen Eternals either, right?
No.
So I haven't seen Eternals. I've heard a lot of not great things about Eternals.
Yeah,
that
it's
being
Eternals.
said, no, I haven't heard great things about it.
No, I know, because it's Eternals.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, anyway, I don't know anything about anything. So anyway, but I do know that there was a post. It was Chloe Zhao, the director, put on her Instagram story, because it's the worst reviewed Marvel movie on Rotten Tomatoes. And then somebody said, this is the worst MCU movie. And she reposted it on her story and said, is it? Find out for yourself. It's not, or something like that. So I might watch that movie in Disney. I still haven't seen Shang-Chi or what's the Black Widow. I have seen Hawkeye, and I've seen WandaVision. So I feel like I'm caught up enough that I don't need those movies.
But you speak
so whatever. I know you go on Twitter, you know what happens on it. Like, I don't need to watch them. But Shang-Chi, it's all on Twitter. Shang-Chi, though, you've talked so highly about, people have spoken, so I'll probably check that out at some point. But anyway, we should also say we're talking this nonsense that if you haven't seen Book of Boba Fett Chapter 2, you should skedaddle. That's what we're going to talk about. Skedaddle out of here with the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah, it's... I'm just waiting for the people that don't want to get spoiled.
If you haven't seen it, get out of here. I don't want you to leave. I want you to come back after you watch it so we can all hang out and talk about it.
Having just watched Spider-Man No Way Home and seeing like how much of the happy character has evolved in that film, and just like to see the end credits in this show, it's like written and created by Jon Favreau, and I'm like, that guy is on like cloud 9 at this point. Like, the show is just perfect. Like it's, well, I don't know. I shouldn't throw around the word perfect. It's great though. It is fantastic. And I watched it again when I got home because I watched it this morning, early in the morning, because I had to work at 7 o'clock, 7:30. So I got up early. I went on the treadmill to run because I've been running in the morning, and I watched it while running. So I was sweating while on the deserts of Tatooine. Loved it. I don't even know where to start, James. What was your favorite part?
I didn't have a favorite part. I think, and that's the truth. It was start to finish. I don't know. I just really loved it. Favorite part. Well, one thing that stuck out to me in my mind was when we went to go see Solo, a Star Wars story. My dad absolutely hated that the train was on the track.
I thought your dad too.
and this time there was no track for the train, and I think my dad would really. That was the first thing I thought. I was like, oh, he's gonna love it. It's like Favreau listened to him, but it's like. I don't know. It's like they took the Boba Fett character, and there were complaints last week. I don't know if you heard, Brock, but people were like, they made him a wuss, and he's not strong, and that's not my Boba Fett. Like, Boba Fett gets knocked out by a temporarily blind Han Solo comedically, and he gets eaten by because he was so tough before. But, like, we're seeing a tough guy who is being digested he was being digested. Let's just... like the acid would have killed all of us, but he survived that.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing him become an interesting character, not just a guy in a helmet.
Actually, like I was thinking about that when watching this, is like this episode really points out. It's like, well, if you're wondering why he seems a little different in the first one, which is like, what do you base it on? I mean, I guess I wouldn't say he's any different from what he was in Mandalorian. Now he's like the main focus. But this whole vision thing he goes on with the lizard up the nose, which was crazy. Like, I mean, the amount of information about the Tusken Raiders we're getting from the show, like Favreau loves Tusken Raiders. I'm like, man, so like, because I was thinking about like Mando can speak Tusken Raider. But yeah, no, I mean, I loved that whole idea of like, he's accepted into the tribe or whatever you would call a group of Tusken Raiders, and he goes on that vision quest, and this is how he gets his gaffy stick. But then we get to see like, I don't think it really revealed much about him outside of like he thought of his life on Camino and then what it was like, the struggle in the Sarlacc pit. I don't know if there's much else revealed to it. I like the idea though. It's like, he's a man, but also he's the armor. It's not, or the armor isn't it like the visual of Boba Fett is who he is, not just armor he wears. I like that idea. So like, I thought it was really, really good. My big thing was outside of like, we get Hutts. Finally, we have Hutts back in something. James, they put Black Krrsantan in live action. They didn't even name him.
No,
they didn't even name him in the credits because you know me, I love to read the credits of at least the cast of like who are the background characters. Great. I was just like, and it was perfect. It looks exactly like what he looks like in the comics, and like that's awesome.
I had a friend ask me if he was a big deal, and I said, I think he's from the comics. I knew it was from the comics, but I'm like, it doesn't really matter. Like, that doesn't matter because that's not the point of that character when we're watching. I mean, if you know the backstory, it enhances what you're seeing.
Yeah.
But even still, you're seeing a badass looking Wookiee bounty hunter come up, and you're like, it like that. That's the like. And my guess would be that Favreau, when he wrote that, had no idea who that character was. He was like, I want a Wookiee bounty hunter. And then somebody was like, well, we got this guy. And he was like, yep, that's what we're doing. Because that's a badass bounty hunter, right? Who's alive in that time. And
it's like, he comes on screen, and I'm like, oh, they're going to make a Black series out of you, and I'm going to buy it.
they had you. They had you. I would get all three of them, the twins and then the Wookiee.
Yeah.
That was. I love the twins. I was so excited when I didn't know when they said twins. Did you know who they were talking about?
No, I don't.
Are those?
Surprised. Yeah.
Yeah, we should ask the chat and people who know stuff about Star Wars because we don't. Are the twins from somewhere like something? Like, am I missing something? Like, have the twins been mentioned in anything before? Were they made up for the show? I thought they were made up for the show, but then I'm like, well, they probably might not have been. They probably showed up in like some like a one-off novel that I missed somewhere along the lines. They finally mentioned Nell Hutta. Finally, the Hutt planet is mentioned for the first time ever in live action, which is very exciting because, you know, we love the Clone Wars, we love all these animated stuff, we love the novels and all that, but when it's in live action and on our screens, that's when it becomes real, because that's when it's mass. Seen by the masses, right? When it's acknowledged by the masses. So I absolutely loved it. From start to, because the other thing we talked about this last week, but it's the flashbacks. People were complaining about flashbacks, and I heard more people complain about flashbacks, and I'm just like, but the flashbacks are the show. The show isn't just the present. It's Godfather 2. I kind of wish they got De Niro to play young Boba Fett. But like it's Godfather 2, where the Corleone story, you know, the young one is just as important as the Michael story. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like that's that's how I'm looking at it. I'm like the flashbacks are the story, and last week I was more interested in the flashbacks than the modern day stuff. Not that I wasn't interested in the modern stuff or the modern stuff, but this week. I love both equally, and it was almost like 2 15-minute episodes, like when you used to watch, like, I don't know what were like those cartoons in the 90s where they would split in half, like in 2 15. Like, that's what I was like. We watched like here's the Boba Fett 1 and here's Boba Fett 2, and I loved both, and I was hankering for more.
Yeah, like it's like I'm really enjoying this, like the storyline with him and the Tusken Raider tribe. Like it kind of starts to make sense on where his headspace is, where it's not just about like taking, like, or perhaps, I don't know. It's like we don't know what Boba Fett was like prior to Empire Strikes Back, to my knowledge, outside, I guess, comics, but like that gets muddy in a sense.
And then whatever you got from him in the Clone Wars.
I honestly think like this experience he's having with the Tusken Raiders is informing why he is trying to take over Jabba's, or why he's doing what he's doing as he's becoming. This is something we didn't talk about last week. This term daimyo, like that's new. I've never heard of that before. Like this sort of like the mafia boss daimyo. I'm like, oh, I like it. They said it a lot this episode.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever heard it. They did say it a lot. Sorry, Brock. I am looking at I am Googling because Pauline just said the following.
The wins.
Rebels, anyone great? But I'm Googling it. I'm using the Google, and I don't see anything that makes that statement true. So if anyone can.
I feel like Filoni definitely had a hand in the design of them, because like do we know the name of the twins? I can't even think. What were the name of the twins? But they're reminiscent.
Yeah.
What does it say?
Hurt twins. What? Hurt twins. Hold on. Here we go. The Hutt twins as Book of Boba Fett. Oh wait, no, that's not what I want. Screen Rant, comic book. The Star Wars they wouldn't, because they're not going to do it till Sunday. We might not know until Sunday who these two are. They'll probably be the character poster this week. Oh God, I hope so. Oh, they're so awesome. They are so awesome.
They were reminiscent of like the style of how they were animating Hutts in Clone Wars and Rebels. So like Filoni must, because like the tattoo on the male one, and like I don't know, was it jewelry? Was it a beauty mark? That, like what Heidi just said, on the female one, because I got the sense one was male, one was female. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't mean to put gender on Hutts, on slugs. I love the detail of he's wiping his forehead with the little mouse thing, and the mouse is like biting him. Heidi just said something really cool. Do you see what she said there? 723. Put that up. That's an interesting one because I was going to comment on that scene as well. That's crazy because like when I saw those two characters, the couple that get hassled by the crew, I was like, is this the Damerons? Is this Shara Bay and and her husband, the father of Poe Dameron that like I can never remember his name. It wasn't, but that's cool. I never like I don't think I knew Cammy. Like I know I've heard the name Fixer, of course, but like, but anyway, is Fixer the man that gets beat up, or is that the bartender? Because I was like, that bartender looks familiar. But yeah. What was I gonna say? I loved. I wrote notes, James. What did you? Oh, before we move away from the beginning of the episode, because I read the credits, Robert Rodriguez is the voice of the mayor.
Interesting. It does sound like him now that you said that.
Yeah. And then, like, before they go into the mayor's office, the guy at guy at the desk, I kept looking at him like, who is this guy? He looks familiar. About it. I thought it was Pedro Pascal actually for a hot second. The mustache was
sounded very much like him. Yeah,
but
Heidi wishes that was David Spade.
At the desk.
Yeah,
oh my god,
the reception. Yeah. That was funny. I had a good laugh over that. I love that scene. I like the mayor stuff. I love the weaving of the story that they're doing. By the way, I did look up the Hutts. There was only one known Hutt cousin to Jabba the Hutt in canon, and that was from 2019. And that character apparently was in a comic book and was killed off. It was Tales from Vader's Castle or some Vader Castle comic. So the Hutt thing is new. They created these characters, I guess, for the show, which I'm totally fine with. Oddly enough, when Jon Favreau was announced to be joining Solo, the Solo movie, I put a video up years ago that I thought maybe he would be voicing a Hutt because I still think he would be fun to be voicing a Hutt. I'm glad that the Hutts didn't speak English though. I'm glad. I like when they say Boba Fett and then they did. I'm glad they sound like Hutts. And you're right, the mouse thing. Just that I've only seen. I gotta confess, I have only seen this episode once because I am not a true fan. I woke up, I took my dog for a walk, I went to work, I came home from work, I made myself something to eat, I sat and I had some rapini bread and a glass of wine, and I watched Boba Fett like a fine dining cuisine show that it is. And and I was listening with my headphones and it was so loud that Aaron's like, turn it down. I was like, this is just so good. I was just like, I didn't want this one to end. I would say if we did a ranking of all Mandalorian and Boba Fett shows, this one is up there for me personally. I just absolutely love what we got. Tusken Raiders, like you said, he seems to have a fascination with them, but I also think that they, as characters, are, because everyone's like, oh, the indigenous aspect and yada yada, and obviously that's true. But I just think they're so compelling and they're so layered, and we've never been given any of that they can exploit that in the storytelling, and they can tell rich stories using these characters. And you can have a character like Boba Fett go from like ruthless bounty hunter to, civil crime lord now, you know what I mean? Like, they're showing this progression, and they use these characters that we know and love, and they're making those characters exactly what we knew, but twisting it like just enough so you see a different side of them. But they're still going to shoot down the train and all that stuff.
Yeah, speaking of the train, like the Pikes are back. This is great. Like, I don't remember. We don't ever see their faces in Han Solo, right? I don't even think in the cartoon, because it would be Han Solo or Solo the movie. They're in that, and then they're in the 7th season of. Oh, maybe no. Sorry, they're originally in Clone Wars. That's right.
Yeah.
But they've become a huge deal till Solo. Anyways, it was cool. Like they look like fish. They look like fish if they had a body.
Did you see the credits? Did somebody do the voice of the leader?
I know. I didn't.
I mean, someone did. Someone did the voice.
It was weird. Like, they left out the twins' voice. Like there was someone else I was trying to like look up too.
because
But yeah,
that
like
voice was very distinctive. I don't know who it was, but it was distinctive, and I bet you, if it was nobody, I would believe it. But if it was like a
yeah,
somebody, I would also be like, ah, you know. So it's one of those voices. So all right,
yeah.
interesting. I wonder. The Huts were all done by Kathleen Kennedy, who was fired.
Fired.
She was fired.
Yeah,
Hey, Kathleen,
solid.
you're fired. You're fired.
You're fired. Yeah, good. Yeah, this series is just fantastic. I can't think of what else. Oh, the amount of banthas that died in this, I was expecting at the end of the episode, like no animals hurt in the making of this this episode.
That was sad. The first one, the second one that went down, I was like, don't bring them with you. The first one was sad though. The first one, I was like, oh man, that's probably the saddest death in Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah. It
was like
like,
emotional.
you're like, oh. I don't know if this. It's it's just sort of like, at what cost did they win? But Reham's like, why are they letting all the water out of the train? I'm like, that's a good question.
Because they don't know. They're just breaking it down and drinking it.
Yeah. I will say, I don't know if this is like controversial, but I'm like, oh, gaffy sticks are finally cool. They're like, oh, that's like the whole lore of that, and then like seeing how their fighting works, and then like the whole dance at the end where they're doing all the movements and stuff. I was like, I also was like, because like Tamora Morrison is from New Zealand, correct? Or Australia? I think it's New Zealand. He's usually, but anyways, like that has like real like Maori warrior vibes, and I know like that's a big deal in that culture, and I believe he is part Maori. I don't quote me on that. But yeah, it's solid. I found myself, like, because I watched this twice, combing this episode for any little thing I missed. Like when he's just walking around the old jumpsuit in the flashback before they give him the new robes. I'm like, there's like, like we look, there's like holes and tears. I'm like, is that because like the Sarlacc pit was starting to eat away at it, or is that just what it looked like underneath like all the armor? I'm like, it's like, oh, I'm way too into this show. But yeah, I like that. Like we now know the reason he's wearing black underneath his new, or like in Mandalorian, it's black instead of the usual gray jumpsuit. Is like, well, these are like clothes that the Tusken Raiders have given to him. So it's like, oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, I love that. By the way, he has the same jumpsuit that the Penguin wears in Batman Returns. Also, we should point out that it's the same jumpsuit that they both wear under their clothing. Are both of those. I love the black. I love that. Like, I wasn't expecting to get a story on why he wore what he wore when we meet him in Mandalorian, but here we are. We got it. So do you think we don't have this as an odd today, but do you think we're going to get him when he fixes and maybe takes care of and heals Fennec Shand? Do you think we're going to be getting that for sure in a flashback now?
Of what?
Or maybe maybe we're done with flashbacks. Boba Fett.
I think we're gonna get a storyline a little bit more with like the Tusken Raiders or something else on Tatooine. I think we're gonna get like he's gonna want. Well, I think they'll definitely try to figure out a story that like this is how he gets his spaceship back, his starship back, because like he more or less just has that when we meet him again in whatever. I think like I feel like there's gonna be a storyline of explaining a little bit more why he wants to take over Jabba's empire. Like we don't really know the reason outside of like, well, power.
I'm guessing it has to do with the Tusken Raiders. I'm guessing it has to do with and maybe a new outlook on everything, and maybe the Tatooine isn't run the way it needs to be run, and he's going to go in there and clean it up and fix it. That's why he's going to rule with respect and great skin, just great skin.
I really want to know what the timeline of what we're seeing in these flashbacks and or like where like Return of the Jedi. How long is he in the Sarlacc pit? And then from that point that's where we started to Mandalorian. What is the time gap? Like I don't know. I haven't looked it up, but like I would like to know because it's like, well, like why did he let Cobb Vanth keep the armor? You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Well,
really.
he might not have even let him keep the armor. He might not have gotten there yet because he's on all these side quests, right? With the Tusken Raiders, like the Tusken Raiders. How long do you think he was there for? Probably like close to a year, I'd guess. He was with the Tusken Raiders for like he was there for a chunk of time, right? Like he's there for a long period of time. He's in the Sarlacc for probably a year or two. Like you know, time has gone by, and yeah, maybe Cobb Vanth wasn't going to give it back to him, and he was like, you know, and he said, "Fine, whatever, I'm Boba Fett." Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that's why he got. Maybe he couldn't kill Cobb Vanth to get his thing back, and that's why he got Fennec Shand. He healed Fennec Shand so she would go and kill him because she's ruthless, right? So who knows? I think we're going to, we're definitely going to see how he gets his ship back. Which I don't know if it's called the Slave One or the Starship anymore because the packaging and everything seems to change. My little diecast thing here says Slave One. Does it matter? They've never said it in a movie, right? Although Robert Rodriguez on that Hollywood Reporter interview said that he thought Boba Fett had a cool name, like his ship name was cool. So I don't see why, like, you know, whatever. Anyway, who cares? It's a product placement.
But yeah, like, great. I had to double check, like, that if Robert Rodriguez directed this one, he did not. It's Steph Green, and I thought it said Seth Green. I'm like, oh, and I was like, no.
That would be amazing if it was. So. Are you familiar with any of Steph Green's work?
I don't know. I didn't look. Is it a man or a woman?
It is a woman. She directed. Now I forget the name of because we're recording. I forget the name of that Will Forte movie, which is not like Star Wars at all. Not someone you would expect to do Star Wars based on the one movie that I've seen of theirs. But I thought it was handled. I thought the directing was fantastic in this episode. It kept you in. It kept you going. There was nothing. Sometimes you find with every once in a while, I'm not going to say who, but there is a director who's done a couple of these shows now, and they do things, and I'm like, why did you just do that? I don't like that shot. This episode did not have any of that, and I was all in on it. Looks like we got some spam going on in the chat too. Awesome. I was all in on it though. You know, like I love this episode. It was just like so good. So with this show and Mandalorian, I think what they both show is they're just well thought out.
Exactly.
They're cared for. Yeah, they there's a purpose to these shows, and the people making them love it. And it just, I don't know. I just find it pure entertainment. Like the point of me sitting down to watch this is to be entertained for however long it is. And 2 weeks in a row now, I've sat down. I have been entertained. I am intrigued by this character. I love the world, obviously. That's why I'm watching it. And I'm going to be selfish right here. And people in the chat, we're going to lose all people that are watching right now. But I love that they're on Tatooine because Tatooine is so Star Wars. And I mean, Camino, look, when you go to Camino, I'm all in. But they're on Tatooine. It makes sense for them to be on Tatooine. And I'm loving it. It feels like the mayor's office, like the mayoral headquarters that they went to. I was like, that's awesome. Like, you know, now you're like, well, that's been there the entire time. I didn't expect that. That's awesome. I love that. Andrew Fantasia texted me earlier. He really was hoping that Watto shows up, but I'm with him. If he doesn't show up, the whole show's ruined.
Oh man. Yeah. Point where it's like he leaves the Tusken Raiders and then hangs out with Jawas for a while. I'm like, sure. Sounds good. Sounds good. But it's like I'm I am all in on this show. It is great. It's yeah. I don't know. It's like I think they should honestly consider Filoni and Favreau, one of the two, becoming the Kevin Feige of Star Wars, where it's just like there's a reason to make this one. That's actually something. Yeah, I was gonna say like it would be. I was like, oh, wouldn't it be awesome if they took off one of their masks because they trust him now? So
I'm okay with not seeing their faces. I don't need to see everybody's face. I kind of like, leave things to the imagination. I'm still kind of up. I know they've shown it in the comics and whatnot, but I'm fine with not seeing it. But I mean, if they do it, if they do it, they do it. I'm sure I won't complain or care. But some things I think you can leave for the imagination, and I am. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. Do you want to go to the odds?
Let's do it. Never Tell Me the Odds. Brought to you. Oh, right. There's a song.
1,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
Never Tell Me the Odds. Brought to you. Never Tell Me That Odds. Brought to you by patreon.com/Rebel Scum Podcast. If you like what we do and you want to support us, head on down. Get in your car, drive to patreon.com and support us. We would greatly appreciate it, and we try to put out as much extra content for those people who specifically help us out. And we love every single one of them, and that's why we always make sure they are known to everyone that's listening and that we appreciate them. And those people are Heidi Feder, executive producer, Barry Brophy, Dennis Allen, Randy Kenomi, Mary Kristen Aton, Jeff Wilson, Phil Stanifor, Scott D, Josh Price, Matt W.,
Rez, Frank Perkins, Neil Lowry, D. Raven Spencer, Cosmic Girl 02, Gleek Play 1, Disney Desi, Charlotte, Kayla Davis, Girls with Sabers, and the Den of Nerds. My internet is slowing down, Brax, so I don't know if I'm cutting you off or whatever, but I apologize to you and to all of our beautiful listeners out there. I am so very sorry about that. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, never tell me the Never tell me the odds. Today's odds are all about the Book of Boba Fett. Shocking. Never tell me the odds. Will the twins be the big bad? Are they going to be the big bad guys, or is there somebody else lurking in the shadows?
I feel like there's just going to be a lot of tripping blocks because what is the point of the show outside of like just delving into Boba Fett? Like there doesn't seem like Mandalorian was like, there's this kid that like the Empire wants, and that's the trajectory you're going on. Right now, it's just sort of like Boba Fett wants his life back, which is like interesting. But yeah, I could see them definitely being the main focus, but maybe a doorway to the next big thing, right? I'm gonna go 90% on this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm gonna go 71%. I think it's high. I think this show is just about. I think this show is about Boba Fett, but it's gonna be about the underworld of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Which is gonna propel us to a place past the sequel trilogy. I think that's what the plan is. This is going to be more about that and the status of the underworld. So I'm going to go 71% right now. But I was going to say I could change that any time, but no one will ever call me out on that. Our next odd, will Fennec Shan kill Santi? Santi is, I don't know the Wookiee's name, Brock, but I saw the nickname was Santi. Way easier to spell than his actual name. So I went with Santi. Dr. Afro calls him Santi.
So you looked it up on the internet, but didn't copy paste the name into
Here's
the
problem, Brock. But if I copy and pasted the name, then I would have to say the name, and that wasn't going to happen either. So I'm going with Santi. That's what Dr. Afro calls kush.
Yeah, I don't know how to exactly pronounce it because we've never actually heard it out loud to my knowledge. I say black chrysanthemum.
Santi.
I think I should just say Christian, but like it's gonna sound awesome with it because like those extra like syllables
Yes.
or not syllables, consonants. It's like, oh, this is all because this is a real Wookiee name. I think if they're smart, they keep him around. Like he's like when you think about it, he's the new Boba Fett. He's that cool character just walks in and doesn't say anything, and you're like, ooh. So I don't think she's going to kill him because I think there's a lot they could do with that character. Not like a main series, but like he could pop up in other places. So I'm gonna go 10% because I do not want that to happen.
I don't want it to happen either, but they killed Quill and IG-11 in Mandalorian. They have no shame. They kill who they want to kill to get the story across. I'm gonna go full Brock on it though, because if he ends up being like the side bad guy, then he's got to die, right? Heidi is thinking that Darth Jar Jar is the big bad, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of am all on board with that. Why not? And our final odd will
hold it.
Yo, no, go.
I have a different odd.
Go, do it.
What are the odds that whatever Boba Fett's plan is, and then the inevitable showdown between whoever the bad guy is, be it the mayor, be it the twins, what are the odds that this showdown or his big plan will involve the Tusken Raiders in some way?
91%. I
think
that's where we're going. Yeah, I think. Look. This, it's Godfather. This is the Mandalorian was a Western. This is 909% a Western, and that's how it's going to end. It's the Three Amigos. We all love the Three Amigos, with Steve Martin, Chevy Chase, and Martin Short. One of the greatest movies of all time. Everybody knows that. Lorne Michaels knows that. We all know that, and that's what this is going to be with Tusken Raiders.
Yeah. Like it's. I was like, oh, they are gonna come back. That is the whole point that he's having this relationship. I think like that's his plan. He's like slowly become part of the culture of what Tatooine is, and all those gang members are ignoring it. So.
Yeah, no, I think that's what the show is, I think it's a layered show. I think the crime world is what is going to be impacted by it all, and I think Tatooine is what it's all about, and kind of becoming the ruler of Tatooine. And how long is he alive during the sequels? We'll never know.
Yeah.
We'll never know. Let us know what your odds are in the comments below. Heidi has a big long that I'm going to put down. See, I think this is where The Last Jedi was heading, and that the syndicates were going to be revealed as the true villains, manipulating everything, but the whole crime syndicates were dropped with Abrams. Maybe.
Yeah.
Possibly. I think crime syndicates are something that have been around in Star Wars forever, and well, at least since Return of the Jedi. So they've been around forever because Solo, worked for Jabba the Hutt in the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that would have made sense. The problem with the crime syndicates, it's not the problem, but I guess the problem when you go from Last Jedi onwards is, do they feel that it's big enough, right? Because movies always have to end with that big, huge cloud beacon in the sky and everything. You know what I mean? Like, is it big enough as a threat? And you know me, Brock, I'm like, reeling in a bit, man. Let's bring these down to earth and make it a little bit more relatable, even though it's a galaxy far, far away. It doesn't have to be a massive threat for it. And I think the crime syndicates would have been awesome. Oh, but before we move on to the news, I saw just before I logged on, I read a rumor that Emilia Clarke will be returning as Kira on a Disney Plus show, possibly headlining one, possibly appearing. Brock, do you have any thoughts on
Is that like true, or is that a rumor?
No, it's a rumor. It's a rumor, but it's circulating now. And I think we're on the right trajectory, right? With Book of Boba Fett.
Yep. Like, do it. Just do it. Like, we've talked about this for years now. Like, you don't have to make Solo 2, but like there's something interesting in that universe. So yeah, like it's just do it. Like I don't know. It sucks because like the characters in Solo that are alive that can still be present are basically Han Solo, Chewbacca, Lando, Kira, Darth Maul, obviously, but then also I guess oh gosh, who is the gang that was like chasing them, but it was like they were they were part of the rebellion. What's
Oh yeah, the
Enfys Nest,
Marauders,
like that would be cool. The Marauders, like they you put them in, and we know that like the actress, I totally forget her name. She was just in Captain America and Falcon. She can hold her own on screen. She knows how to work with these franchises, so it'd be great. It'd be great. Actually, like just make it a show about Kira and Enfys Nest, new leader of the underworld, and like this new upstart of the rebellion. Like just like boom, and then you could just create a whole new thing, and occasionally drop in Han and Chewie if you wanted. But yeah.
News.
Let's do it.
Hollow news. Da 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 da. Hollow news. Da 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 da. Hollow da 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 da. Okay, Brock, it's all you. Bye.
Hollow news, the news you need to know right now. Sorry, let me get my notes here. The scene, one fun thing, obviously we've been talking about Book of Boba Fett. The scene in the Book of Boba Fett, where we see a young Boba Fett was made from a bunch of different old clips that George Lucas never used. The scene in Book of Boba Fett is a sad and meditative look at the main character's most traumatic childhood moment as he grips his father's helmet and realizes he's never coming home. This content is I'll describe it this way. The way this shot was achieved was a pretty impressive technical trick, as spotted by Cinematic Capture on Twitter. The filmmaking team on the Book of Boba Fett actually blended footage shot by George Lucas for Attack of the Clones with freshly filmed material for a seamless scene. Daniel Logan, who played Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones, is actually one who differentiated between previously shot footage and was a new bit of the child actor seen from over the shoulder. That particular over-the-shoulder shot is new. The rest of young Boba Fett is from the 2000 shot in Australia. Today, even though the big news today is episode 2 of Book of Boba Fett, in the High Republic world, Claudia Gray's The Fallen Star came out today, and this is the final book of the Phase 1 for High Republic. As announced on the special High Republic show anniversary stream over on the Star Wars YouTube, Phase 2 of the Transmedia Publishing Initiative will be called Quest of the Jedi and serve as a predecessor to the initial wave of High Republic stories. Tales totaling Quest of the Jedi will be set 150 years in the past, in homage to George Lucas' decision to make Star Wars prequel trilogy in the wake of the original saga. It wasn't said in the video itself, and this means that the new phase is set 50 years after the events of Phase 1, which was set 200 years before the Star Wars prequels, or it's set 150 years before Phase 1, making it 350 years before the movies. But High Republic writer Daniel Jose Older teased on social media that is indeed further back into the era's past. Vague timelines aside, 4 new authors are also joining the team, established in the High Republic's first phase: Lydia Kang, Tessa Gratton, Zoraida Cordova, and George Mann. Well, what about the authors who put in together Light of the Jedi? We're glad you asked, Kevin. I totally cut and pasted this. Kevin Scott is once again writing a new High Republic comic series for Phase 2, which will launch from Marvel Comics in October. Charles Soule will explore the backstory of legendary, mysterious Jedi Porter Engle. And the aforementioned Older will be writing an all-ages original graphic novel over at Dark Horse Comics, which, as we reported last week, will start doing Star Wars again. There will also be the adult, YA, and young reader novels to come out as well, but most details beyond new comics for the phase for the next phase are still being held back. One last detail revealed was Justina Ireland, who wrote Phase 1's A Test of Courage, Out of the Shadows, and the new release Mission to Disaster, is co-writing the first YA novel of Quest of the Jedi with addition Tessa Gratton. And finally, if you love Star Wars games, especially the old stuff from back in the day, Amazon is dropping Star Wars Battlefront 2, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and Star Wars Squadrons for free. It's set to continue the courtesy of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2, Star Wars Eclipse, and the other upcoming games set in the iconic sci-fi franchise. I don't even want to read. So anyways, the first couple of games I mentioned, not the ones that aren't out yet, were now available to play for free if you are an Amazon Prime subscriber, courtesy of Prime Gaming. I never heard of Prime Gaming prior to this, so it must be a new section. Not only do you need to be an Amazon Prime subscriber to secure a free copy of the game, but free copies are limited to PC codes. The games are available on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series S, and X, and Series X. But Prime Gaming only gives away free PC games, and it does this every month. And so far, it's never offered subscribers on console or any digital codes. So if you're a PC player and you like these old Star Wars games, go check it out. I'm going to, I guess, Amazon's in the video game industry. And this has been your Hollow News.
Oh no, there's two of us. Oh God, what is happening? Jeez.
This was one of those days where, like, I'm reading the news for the first time.
A lot of news. I don't play PC games, but maybe I'll have to start because I like free.
Yeah.
Well, I've never. We talked about Monkey Island. I've never been able to play like the keyboard game. You plug in the. I don't know. I'm a console guy, but free. Like I said, I do enjoy free. Hollow News. It's time for top 5, Brock.
Top 5.
Top 5 are ringing in the new year. Top 5 things we're hoping. We cannot wait. We are anticipating and looking forward to from Star Wars in the year 2020 also. My number 5 is Cassian Andor. It's coming Q2, and I cannot wait for Cassian Andor. A lot of people, we did our ranking show. Rogue One ranked very high as usual. Not as high as last year, I don't think, but it ranked very high. If you haven't seen our ranking show, go check it out. But it made me want to look back on Rogue One, and I am a big fan of Cassian Andor and can't wait to see what that series has in store. Maybe he escaped, Brock. Maybe he escaped. What's it called? Scarif. Maybe he punched out of the explosion like Boba Fett. We'll have to find out. We don't know. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is the new High Republic stuff coming out. I'm finished Into the Shadows. I really can't remember the names. I'm on. No, I think it's Out of the Shadows, and now I'm reading Into the Dark. That's why it gets confusing. I'm reading the Kevin Scott novel right now, so I'm looking to like hustle through all these books and be ready for the new stuff. So I've been liking it, picking up some of the comics. So it's like, boom, let's do it.
Sounds good. I haven't read any of them, and I think I should because they're sounding exciting. And the new news is really getting me amped up. I'm looking forward to more Hutts. We're going to get more Hutts. We're at least seeing the twins again, and I can't wait for more. I love it. I love seeing them, and I can't wait. I'm a big Hutt guy. Now Hutta. Let's just go to Now Hutta. I hope we go to Now Hutta. We probably won't, but let's do it. More Hutts.
I forgot to look this up. Is Ahsoka coming out this year, or is that 2023?
Well, it hasn't been announced. I'm guessing it won't be this year.
All right, then Ahsoka maybe is my number 4.
But it could be. You could put like Ahsoka updates. You're definitely going to get updates.
Yeah.
Ahsoka has just cast I don't know, someone read Skeet Ulrich as Bant Cobb.
We get it, you like Scream.
Oh no, but Timothy Oliphant. Did you see what
Timothy Oliphant
played Cobb Vanth, and he was in Scream 2, and Skeet Ulrich would play Vanth Cobb, and he was in Scream 1.
What?
They're both Scream alumni. My number 3, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anything Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's my number 3, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
My number 3 is going to be Cassian, because we do know that's coming out, and yeah, it's of the new projects coming out. It's probably the least I'm excited about because I just don't know anything about it outside of like, oh, yeah, I'd be in for this. So
Yeah, I hope it doesn't suck. My number 2 is. I thought I memorized it. I did not. My number 2. Just news and updates, and maybe even episode 1 of The Mandalorian season 3. It's the show that created Disney Plus. It set Disney Plus afire. Season 1 was fantastic. Season 2 was also fantastic. Both had phenomenal endings, and I just can't wait to see what season 3 has in store.
my number 2 is going to be Obi-Wan. I am psyched for this. I can't wait to get a real trailer, but yeah.
Yeah, I hope we don't get a trailer. They're just like, next week Obi-Wan's out. What? All right, I'm in. They would never do that. But you know what I'm saying? We don't need a trailer. We're excited for a trailer, and we'll lose our minds, but we don't need one. My number 1 is just the return of the Chosen One, Hayden Christensen, making his return to Star Wars. Anakin is back. And I am all in 2022. As much as it's been a slow start, we're only 5 days into this year already. But it's actually going by pretty fast. It's going to be Christmas before you know it. Hayden Christensen's return to Star Wars.
My number 1 for right now, obviously Mandalorian, but like just finishing Book of Boba Fett. Like I am super psyched for this show. So yeah.
It's so good. Absolutely loving it. Let us know what your top 5s are in the comments down below. Next week there's only 8 episodes of this show. 8 episodes, 7, 8 episodes, whatever there is. We're getting to the halfway point. If you do remember, Mandalorian season 1, episode 3 was the Deborah Chow episode, if I remember correctly, and that's the one where all of like the bounty hunters showed up, all the Mandalorians showed up and rescued the Mando Din Djarin. They rescued him. And it was like a pinnacle episode. It was the episode that we all kind of lost our minds and said, give Deborah Chow Star Wars. And Lucasfilm said, okay, here's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Go do it. So who knows? Maybe episode 3 is like that, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's not at all. And it's going to be like the episode where like, was that a real show? That happened? Maybe it's all maybe it's animated like the Christmas special. I don't know. Episode 236, Brock. We're wrapping it up.
Well, it's been a delight as always. Thank you to all the friends that came and talked at us through the chat. It's always fun to see people actually engaging with what we're talking about. And yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And I hope you all are having a very wonderful new year. I hope you all had a very safe and happy holidays. And you're staying safe from the poisonous air that surrounds ourselves. I feel like we're in a really bad sci-fi movie that I would not even put on Netflix. I'd be like, oh, why did I watch it? Anyway, Brock, anything that you want to say before I clear Scum?
No. Read High Republic. It is great.
Read it. It's great. I will do that because I'm James and he's Brock. And thanks for watching, everyone. And he was always Scum.
Rebel Scum.
And don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.